Hello and welcome to today's Titus Timeout podcast. I'm Jenny Abney-Civy, and today we're going to answer the question, what is static regain? Static regain is exactly what it sounds like, a way of regaining static pressure in an HVAC system. Hopefully you remember from one of the early podcasts that total pressure equals velocity pressure plus static pressure. So if the total pressure remains the same, a change in the velocity pressure will result in an opposite change in the static pressure. So if the velocity pressure goes down, the static pressure goes up. In other words, you would regain static pressure. So how do you change the velocity pressure? Well, remember that the velocity pressure equals the square of the velocity divided by 4005. So if your velocity goes down, your velocity pressure also goes down. To see how this works, let's look at a VAV box. A single duct box takes advantage of static regain by having a round inlet and a larger rectangular discharge. Let's move this out of the way a little, make a little room, and then let's draw a VAV box. So you have a round inlet on a rectangular casing. So let's say this is a 10-inch VAV box, meaning it has a 10-inch inlet, 10-inch diameter inlet, and let's say it has 1,000 CFM. So let's look at the area. The area is pi r squared divided by 144 to get it into feet, which is 0.545 square feet. And now CFM equals area times velocity, so velocity is equal to CFM divided by area. So take our 1,000 divided by 0.545, and that comes up with 1835 feet per minute. So now I can calculate the velocity pressure, which is equal to 1835 divided by 4005 squared, and that comes to 0.21 inches. Now let's look at the discharge of the box. So this box has a 12.5 by 14 discharge, drawing not quite to scale. And let's do the math here too. The area is 12.5 times 14 divided by our 144. It's 1.22 is the area of the box. So the velocity is 1,000 divided by 1.22 is 820 feet per minute. Now take that and put in the velocity pressure equation, and you get 820 divided by 4005 squared, and that equals 0.04 inches. So let's say we have half an inch of static pressure on the inlet. So the total pressure at that point would be the velocity pressure, 0.21, plus the static pressure, 0.5, equals 0.71 inches. Now in the rectangular section of the box, say we have the same total pressure, so the static pressure would be 0.71 minus 0.04 is 0.67. So we had half an inch of static, and now we have 0.67 inches of static. Now there is some pressure loss across the box, but you can see that the static pressure is actually increased by lowering the velocity of the box. When the airflow expands and slows down in the rectangular section of an ESV, you regain static pressure. Static regain is a method of duct design, which I won't go into, but it is a good way to design ductwork for VAV diffuser systems, so we may do that in a future podcast. So that answers the question, what is static regain? Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thanks for taking a time out with us.